Hello and welcome to White Glove Reviews, and welcome to my audiobook report on Old Man's War by John Scalzi. And this book is read by William Dufris. I think I said that right. I hope I said his name right. Anyway, it's actually a really interesting book, and it's part of a series of 6 books. Well, technically I think it's 5 books, and one of the books is an assembled group of short stories. I'll include links in the description for all these if you're interested. The premise of the book is people on Earth are allowed to volunteer to join the army, and on their 75th birthday, they are taken off planet and they never come back, and they're sent off to basically fight in the armed forces. I think it's the Colonial Defense Force. Anyway, and they're sent off planet to be in the army. And this first book deals with a guy, John Perry, his entering into the military and what goes on from there. It's kind of tough to talk about the book without giving stuff away, so I'm going to do my best not to. But it's really it's a good book series. I very much like it, and it's John Scalzi has a lot of interesting stuff in the book. I really enjoyed his aliens. Like, his aliens are really interesting, and some of them are just there's enough variety in the aliens, and some of the aliens are quite alien. It's part of a series of 6 books, and like I said, well, one of them is technically 5 books, and all of them are pretty good. The only one the problem is there's 2 books, the third and fourth book. The third book is called The Lost Colony. Or, I'm sorry, Last Colony. And the fourth book is called Zoe's Tale. And the issue I have is The Last Colony and Zoe's Tale pretty much tell the same story from just different perspectives. And I don't know how he could have really combined them, because the problem is Zoe's Tale adds a lot of interesting information about some of the aliens. And I enjoyed the book, but I just kind of, it felt like a little bit of a repeat of the third book, because I guess you were retelling the same story. The fifth book, well, technically this series of short stories, the fifth installment, the series of short stories, is really entertaining, because the premise of this whole thing for most of the short stories is there's basically this team of people, and what happens is they end up getting sent on a mission that's been totally botched. There was like a political mission, and the main like diplomat and etc. got killed, and so the characters in the story are the ones that were basically nearest to the problem. So they get sent, and the reasoning is, well, they can't do worse than failing, because, it was going to fail anyway. And what happens is the series of short stories, a lot of them are about this group of people who keep getting sent basically on suicide missions, because they figure, the higher ups figure they can't do worse. And so it just involves them getting sent on more and more awful jobs. And it's an enjoyable series of short stories. I think they were released individually at first, and then they were assembled into the 5th book, with the word book in quotes, called The Human Division. Anyway, it's definitely an interesting series, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know if I mean, it's kind of tough. I sort of feel like I'd like another book just that occurs a little farther down the line after the last book. After the last book's called The End of All Things. And I kind of feel like I want a book that occurs sometime after that, but I also don't know, because I think The End of All Things wrapped up a lot. But it did leave some openings for stuff in the future. So I don't know. Maybe he will revisit the Old Man's War world later. But If you're looking for some decent, relatively solid sci-fi, and I can't exactly call it military sci-fi because I don't know, maybe it's a little military sci-fi. The problem with labeling something as military sci-fi is I kind of feel like I guess the question would be, would you consider Starship Troopers military sci-fi? Like Starship Troopers by Robert Heinlein? It's like it's about the military, but I don't know if it would fit in the genre of military sci-fi. So, I don't know. That's kind of hard to say. It's definitely sci-fi, and if you're looking for a book series, it's one I would most definitely recommend. I just don't know if I would consider it military sci-fi or not. What do y'all? If y'all have listened to it or read the book, let me know in the comments. Do you think it should be, straight military sci-fi, or is it broad enough? Or I guess is military sci-fi too specific for Old Man's War? And I guess the flip side of that is like, do you think Starship Troopers should be military sci-fi? I don't know. Maybe. I'm kind of curious about that. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And I hope y'all have an excellent day.